Let's see. Our friend Susan Speakman is back, and I just trying to expand out this comment thing, and it just kind of went away. Hey, hang on. I says, view 37 more comments, and that's what I would like to do. Okay, here we go. So Susan Speakman wants to know, given the ever-widening ripples of the Harvey Weinstein debacle, would now be a good time for some deep-pocketed conservatives, or at least Republicans, to stage a takeover of Hollywood? If so, what would such a coup look like? What kind of money would it take? How could it actually be accomplished? Susan, I'm going to tell you something that's just the reality of the world the way it is now, and I don't want you to think I'm being overly pessimistic or angry or bitter. It's just the way it is. Yesterday I did a Nexus report, which, by the way, we've been doing every single day. Been very proud of that. When I realized I had to make a decision between either NRA shows or continuing this business as it existed, I knew that one of the keys to going on would be the discipline of getting a show out every day. And we've done one every day of the Nexus report. They've been really great. They're like little mini firewalls. But one of the things that we talked about yesterday was that George Soros just basically transferred almost all of his personal fortune into the Open Society Foundation. Among many problematic policies of the Open Societies Foundation is the idea that food, healthcare, housing, and so on are rights, and if they're rights, they have to be provided by somebody. And if they're rights, I don't know how you justify having a better house than somebody else if everybody has a right to housing. But put that aside. He made a deposit for this sort of umbrella foundation that funds all of the other things like Black Lives Matter and all the rest, and Occupy Wall Street. He's behind everything. And he deposited $18 billion. $18,000 million to continue the left-wing takeover of the country. And it's been spectacularly successful. You have young people following a 70-something-year-old lunatic who thinks that we have too many different brands of deodorant because of George Soros. So, $18 billion. Now, I am far, far from the world's best salesman by any means, but it just doesn't happen on the conservative side. And this is quite shocking to me and has been quite shocking to me. When it comes time to actually put down some money to counter this message, we just don't have it. We don't have those kind of big people, and we don't have the kind of grassroots commitment that the progressives have, which I find quite surprising and so on. But it's just a fact. That's the way it is. And on any given Stratosphere Lounge, there's probably on YouTube 4,000 or 5,000 people watching this. And there are people who've been watching this show for 5 years and aren't members. And I'm not asking for $18 billion. We're looking for $9.95 a month. And that's the future. The future is not on television. The future is this. And somebody's got to pay for this to keep this thing going. And very few people do. That's why I thank the members so profusely. And it's disturbing. It's especially disturbing because we're sliding away here, and I don't know what it would take to alarm people enough to write a check for something. And it's been very difficult, and not just with me. So I can't really quite understand that. The thing I try to tell at least larger potential investors and donors and so on is whatever you think about your money's worth on this particular donation, try to understand one thing that you really do need to keep in mind. The people that we're fighting here don't want 2,000 of your dollars or 20,000 or 200,000. They don't want that. They want all of it. All of it. and they are succeeding in producing a generation that will soon be voting, and that voting generation is going to vote away all of your prosperity. They're going to vote it to themselves, and it's happening right before our eyes. And the reason we're getting blocked on Facebook and the reason we're being suppressed on YouTube is because it's working. And it scares them. Prager has a 1.2 million likes, I think, something in that number. The marketing director for Prager University told me on the air that of the 1.2 million, or whatever their total number of likes is, when they post a video, which is why people like the Prager page in the first place on Facebook, when Prager posts a video, it goes out to 2% of their total people that have signed up to see the videos. 2%, not 20%. 2% get the video on their wall. And the reason that happens is because these things are effective. And I know they're effective because a number of people stop me and say hi, and I love it when people stop me and say hi. It's just an absolute joy for me to finally meet some of the people that have been watching for a long time. But it also means that, to my astonishment, I'm being recognized an awful lot out there. That means the message is going somewhere. And young people are recognizing me, and that means something good too. But it's just a constant frustration. Jeremy Boring, I think it was Jeremy Boring who said it early, and I mean like 10 years ago. He said the problem is, look, television is free, the internet is free, and you want me to pay for television on the internet? But first of all, the television wasn't free. You were paying for it in the form of advertisements, and if you watched a half-hour comedy, you're really getting 23 minutes of comedy and 7 minutes of commercials, and we didn't think anything about that. Yes, I see it, Eric. Thank you very much. As I said, this is the future. It's going to be people paying for the kind of programming they want to pay for, and that means doing it on a small scale. In any event, I'm going to continue to try and do this because I know these messages are working. I know they resonate. I don't know if anybody's seen the friendlyism video, but that has been, I've had several teachers, including our friend Cheryl Toomey, who just basically said, I've been waiting for something like this for 15 or 20 years. I've been waiting for something to explain socialism to people on a first grade level, because when you explain something as if to small children, it becomes very clear. And so we're continuing to try to do that. So if you've been watching for a long time and you like the stuff and you have the means to do it, we need the resources. Not just me, and not just this company. This country needs these resources. Bone Canoe said, "Go on, Mo." Again, I did that this afternoon. We did a gun control thing. Ruben was fun. All of this stuff, and we're getting some more likes and all that other stuff. But the likes are not really turning into. The likes are not turning into revenue. And we have to contrast this with the left, who is paying money through the nose. They're making television shows like Star Trek Discovery. I can't even say Star Trek and Discovery in the same sentence anymore. It's just one gigantic social engineering monstrosity. But they get a lot of money to produce it. And people are making these anti-American movies, and they cost $25-30 million for a small one, and it makes $800,000 back, and they don't care, because what they know that the prize is not $25 million. The prize is $71 trillion, which is the total value of the private property in the United States of America. That's what they want. Dinesh D'Souza got it exactly right. What is the most valuable thing in the world? It's the private property in the United States of America. If you're going to steal something, that's the thing to steal, $71 trillion. And they're doing it. They're doing it several $1 trillion a year. So I'm not optimistic about people stepping up. However, and I didn't mean to be quick with you there, Eric, as Eric pointed out 6 or 7 times in the comment section, there is a Trump supporter who's looking to buy out the Weinstein company. And I don't think you can I certainly think you can buy the Weinstein Company, and you can take the very liberal things and progressive things that they do off the market. But I don't think that that you're going to get a whole lot of headway trying to produce conservative movies. They'll do all right at the box office, but that's not the issue, you see. These progressive movies don't do well at the box office. Syriana and Redacted, they don't do well. They just keep reinforcing this narrative. That's all they want to do. And you have to admire the tenacity of these miserable bastards. They don't give up. They've been doing it for 50, 60 years, or 100 years, really, at least 100 years, and they just keep going. They know if they keep at it, they're going to get there, and they're getting there. As the entire discussion about the Navy we just had, they're getting there. And Soros is putting lots and lots of money into it. Guys like Weinstein did, and Steven Spielberg, and Katzenberg, and so on, and Bill Gates, and Apple. They put billions of dollars into these left-wing organizations in order to crank out the left-wing message. And we're watching these things come for our children, and we're just sitting there going, yeah, well, no, just don't really feel like paying for it. I get better bang for my buck over here at Conservative Review or whatever. So that's where that is. And one of the things we're doing to try to get this membership up is we're going for consistency. And I really didn't want to talk to people about the membership thing until I had confidence that we could do a show a day. And we have been doing a show a day. We'll continue to do a show a day of the Nexus Report, as well as Firewall. It just came out. I'll do another one this week called Harvey is Hollywood. And we'll just keep pushing it out the door until something breaks, one side or another. So that's the case. I wish I had better news for you, but that's not been my experience, Susan, or the experience of virtually everybody I know in this business. A lot of people saying, "My God, what do we do to save the country?" And then you say, "Well, you could, help pay for some of this content." And I didn't mean, didn't want to go that far. So there you go.